One.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 60 Podcast. I'm your host, Walker, coming at you live from a special location. I am in Stratford, Connecticut for work, but that's why we do Zoom. So let's get this party started.
First, I just want to say, how about the pod going up on a Tuesday? Let's go.
Right.
It's a Tuesday. The first Tuesday pod in 60 history, so that's
We're
nice.
kind of split in the middle. We need to apologize. We were absent last week, but Jordan can explain.
Last week the 60 podcast was at St. Simon's, and
one half of the 60 podcast was at
St.
St. Simon's.
One half was, and no recordings happened basically, as we were getting lit, as the kids would say, and then went to Jacksonville for the game. What's your background?
What's my background?
Yes.
Well, we've all seen, oh my God, my head's floating. Okay, so we've all seen the meme of the guy taking that gator and putting it in the trash can. Well, I mean, it's Kirby's head on that one, so pretty self-explanatory. Kirby's just putting that gator in the trash can, right where they belong. So there you go.
All right. Well, let's just segue it in. Georgia, Florida.
Let's do this.
We talked about it the past few weeks, but Stetson Bennett ended up starting. Just takeaways from everything that happened on Saturday. Just anything.
My takeaways?
Yeah, just any.
I mean, my takeaways, if I'm being honest, was Georgia, to me, played the worst game of the season so far, especially offensively. And I mean, we still blew out Florida. So I don't know. I don't think it'll get the job done. That's not going to, playing like that won't win us playoff games. But I don't know. I still think, like I said, we're the best team in the country. I mean, I think we can play like crap. And then, like I said, scoreboard still looks pretty good at the end of the day. So I don't know. I don't want to say I liked what I saw necessarily. Our defense, I thought, played pretty good, or at least they had some big plays, I should say. They forced a couple turnovers, obviously got those 2 picks, one of them being for a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, our defense is legit, and our offense needs work. I don't know.
Yeah, I basically agreed with almost everything you said. Maybe not the worst game offensively, because Clemson was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But if you're given like the talent gap or whatever, Clemson's defense is better than Florida's. So yeah, I can see that. Stetson Bennett starting. I don't know what to think. He didn't like David said, David, friend of the podcast, he said it. He said, I just want to be like more comfortable knowing Stetson's our guy after the game. Like if he played a great game or a good game or something like that, then sure, okay, I can feel good. But now I feel worse now. He was terrible. He threw 2 terrible picks that were just awful.
Yeah. I feel like Stetson does that.
I don't know if JT is still hurt. I wouldn't believe he still is, but maybe that's why, hopefully. Because Stetson was not good. He did not make me feel any better. And get the crappy Florida defense, too.
Yeah.
But how about Nolan Smith, by the way? He's been
great
fantastic.
Game.
He's been fantastic.
That pick was great, considering, I mean, Nolan Smith is obviously he's not a coverage linebacker per se. You know what I mean? Like he was in coverage that play. He's an outside linebacker. He'll go in coverage sometimes, but that's not what he does. He's a pass rusher. So that was really cool to see him get that interception. I like that a lot.
I want to mention this. Hot Pod. What are you doing? Nobody cares about the Chick-fil-A Bowl. He missed another one.
Lesney, come on the podcast. We got to roast you.
Yeah, we got to talk to you. Like, go find
at least explain yourself, or something. Please explain yourself. Explain why you miss field goals.
I don't know. Terrible. But Yeah, I mean defense gave up some yards, but like you said, they made big plays. I agree with that statement. Just the offense looked rough. I agree. It looked rough. But we're getting all our receivers back, I guess, but it's not really mattering right now.
Exactly.
Like, just like we've been saying, it should be JT. There was a big debate on the UJ Vault about Stetson and JT. It got pretty intense.
How is there
They're the Stetson crowd and they're the JT crowd. Can you
there's a
believe it?
Stetson crowd?
Yeah, no, then they were showing out. They're
No.
defending them.
Anyway.
Here's
I don't have
a little Stetson quote. But I want to do this. So Walker's been doing adult stuff, work stuff. He doesn't know the rankings. So
I do
kind of
not.
go into that. Because the playoff rankings just came out like 2 hours ago. He doesn't know the rankings.
Braves just hit a
Oh, shoot.
3-run home.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, we're watching on Tuesday. Braves are playing right now.
Oh,
Breaking
wow.
news.
Wow. Okay. Well, spoiler alert, Georgia's won. Here's a little segue. Wow. Okay. He's been balling out too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Dave's pissed up there. Have it on record. Dave wants the Astros to win.
I'll have it on the record that David will never be back on our podcast again.
Let's see. All right. So we'll start off at 25. This is your live reaction. So I want to hear your takeaways right after that.
25. Why don't we do like top 10? Come on now.
No, we're going 25 because there's some interesting ones.
I have to comment all the way down backwards.
You can just be like, okay. Like, okay. You don't have to go. We don't have to go deep in detail.
Okay.
All right. 25. We got Pittsburgh. We just lost to Miami. What are you doing? Miami controls their own destiny, by the way, for the ACC.
Really?
Yeah. How did that happen? 24, San Diego State. Okay. 23, Fresno State. Okay. 22, Iowa. By the way, frauds.
Interesting. Yeah. So I actually texted Jordan about this. I was going to say I would like to weigh in because I seem to remember on one of our, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, we basically played a little game where we were like, hey, is Iowa, did they just have a bad week or are they frauds? And I definitely remember answering that they had a bad week. I'm officially switching my answer. Iowa's frauds next.
All right. 21, Wisconsin. Okay. 20, Minnesota. 19, NC State. 18, Kentucky. By the way, shout out Kentucky for losing Mississippi State. Clinch the East, baby. 17, Mississippi State. So here's an interesting fact.
Twice or 3 times?
What?
Has Kentucky lost twice or 3 times?
Twice.
So they lost to us.
Once to us. So yeah. Yeah. Mississippi State. So Mississippi State's not ranked in the AP or the coaches poll, but they're ranked in the playoff poll. Isn't that interesting?
It's the only one that matters.
Yeah.
Actually, the last playoff poll is the only one that matters.
Sure. Yeah, but I'll say it after the rankings. 16 Ole Miss, 15 BYU, 14 A&M, 13 Auburn, 12 Baylor, 11 Oklahoma State, 10 Notre Dame, 9 Wake, 8 Oklahoma.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy?
I love it. I feel
I like it too.
They're using their eyes. They're not just saying you're undefeated, you get a free pass to the end. They're like,
they barely beat Kansas.
They also barely beat Tulane and barely beat someone else. And
I agree. Now they went out. They got Baylor and Oklahoma State, and they got somebody else too that's pretty good. I think Iowa State. They got those 3 to end the year. There's some quality wins on top of that. So who cares? 7, Michigan.
Okay.
I'll go.
Michigan.
I'll go 1 to 6. 1 Georgia. 2 Alabama.
Okay.
3 Michigan State. 4 Oregon.
Nice.
Ohio State 5, Cincinnati 6.
Interesting.
Yes. So what are the takeaways on that?
My takeaways after hearing that whole list is that, I mean, the committee is definitely valuing that, whatever you want to call it, that X factor, that the eye test is what I call it. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't want to say what everyone feels or what everyone sees, but it's kind of like, I think that's what they're judging it off of. Because if they're putting Cincy at 6, obviously, and like Bama at 2, that's saying like, I don't know. Like I'd probably say Bama would. I mean, not even probably. Bama would beat Cincy, I think, if they played.
Here's a little stat that kind of have to do with that. I get it. Where'd it go? So this is just like playoffs right now. What the spreads would be: Georgia minus 17.5 over Oregon, Alabama minus 18.5 over Michigan State. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, they're definitely doing the eye test here.
Yeah, I think that's really all it is at this point. And maybe it's just I don't know. They haven't, the season's obviously what are we? A little over halfway,
Sure.
3/4, somewhere in there.
Yeah. We got like a month left.
I don't know. I don't think they're trying to like predict where these teams are going to be, if that makes sense. They're not predicting anyone's record.
People need to understand that. It was like Clemson a few years ago.
Yeah.
When the first playoff rankings, like they barely beat UNC, and the ACC was really trash back then.
Yeah.
And they put Clemson at 5, and everyone was freaking out. I was like, if they go undefeated, they go undefeated. That was just their way of telling them,
exactly.
Hey, if you lose the game, you're done. So what does that say about Cincinnati?
Cincinnati had 2 kind of bad games.
Undefeated right now. If you're going up against a 1-loss Ohio State or a 1-loss Oregon, you're not going to make it. Right. It's basically what I saw, because their best wins Notre Dame, who I find is at 10, so that doesn't really make any sense.
Is that Notre Dame's only loss?
Yep.
Interesting.
So, what about that? That's my biggest thing. That they're telling Cincinnati, you're going to need some help. Wow, he launched that. And my other takeaway is they value head-to-head. I'm glad about that.
Yeah, they do. Because we're
going to over Ohio State. Yes. Yeah. Do I think Ohio State would beat them? Oregon right now if they played again? Yeah.
Honestly, I think they would too. I feel like I've been liking.
But what's the point of playing the game?
Exactly. Like, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, it's obvious, like I said, that the eye test, at least in this most recent poll, is the most important thing. So, I mean, other factors are obviously weighed in, but
I want to say this:
your record only gets you
how much do you factor Alabama being Alabama is the reason why they were ranked 2? Like just the brand.
I mean, I don't know. They have one kind of, it was a close but fluke loss, I would say. It was one of those things I feel like,
team in the country on the road.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, like, one of those things, football's so tough because, like, I think if Alabama plays A&M 10 times, you know what I mean? Like, they'll beat them probably 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? Maybe even 9 out of 10, if I'm being honest. It's just sometimes that happens. Like I said, I brought it up before. Georgia lost to South Carolina a couple years ago, and I still don't even know what to say about that. That we just played terrible. Like it's any given Saturday.
Even against Florida, that was not that win. It's looking worse and worse. And like, hold up.
All I'm saying.
Podcast. Get out of here.
This might get
David, I just told Walker the rankings. What do you think?
What do I think of the rankings? Oh my God, is this a calling guest appearance? The first ever on the show?
It is actually.
Cincinnati's getting screwed.
I was just ranting about that.
I love it. This ranking's wild. They have no consistency. I don't know what they're doing here, but I love it.
I think they're going straight up with the eye test. I just asked Walker what he thought of how much did Alabama, the brand, factor in them being ranked 2.
Probably. I mean, I feel like they overrated the SEC a little bit, so I'm gonna be honest.
Really? Interesting.
Paul.
All right. We're gonna continue this. Bye.
Oh, did you?
Can I just
No.
went out for a second?
What?
We're doing a podcast right now. Something that is audio based. I know we have this video, but in its essence, a podcast is audio. And Jordan is eating crunchy tortilla chips into his microphone.
I didn't even think about that. We don't have a lot of Spotify users.
I was
so-
about to say, imagine, if you're listening on Spotify right now and you're wondering why you just hear chewing noise, of all the things you don't want in a podcast.
I didn't really think about it. I kind of forgot about podcast gang. My bad.
Anyway,
My bad, SG.
next.
Okay. Head to head, I'm happy about that. Because what's the point of playing the game? That'd be stupid. Okay, so one thing I want to go through, I want to talk about real quick is how about Notre Dame? They went out. They only have one loss to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, if I'm being honest, I haven't seen them play that much. But I was watching when they played Florida State and almost lost that one. And I don't know. That's all I have to say about that one.
I'll say this. Does undefeated Wake make it?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
I think an undefeated.
They put one loss Big Ten. They put in one loss Oregon.
And honestly, I feel like
they put in undefeated Cincinnati, honestly.
I agree. See, because I think I talked about this on another episode as well, where I kind of said, I mean, Cincinnati was kind of up there in the mix last year too, which for these schools that aren't those blue bloods, you know what I mean? Like for them to be even considered like that, I think continued success is a way to get in there. Like you can't just have one fluke season out of nowhere and then you're like, oh yeah, that's a good team right there. It's like, no. I mean, like I said, Cincinnati was good last year and you kind of see how they're getting treated. So yeah, I think I mean, like I said, this is the first of many rankings. There's no telling what will happen to these teams. You never know. Like, since you're awake or someone, it won't happen. But I'm like, they could lose out or something and drop completely out of the top 25. Like
exactly.
No one has any clue what's going to happen. So
yeah, no, I agree. But this was going to be my warning before, but I guess I'll just do the warning now. Like you said, these don't matter. The whole point of these things is just have people debate. Oh, what if Georgia wins out and Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship, and Michigan State wins out, and Oregon wins out, and Cincinnati wins out, and Oklahoma wins out, and Notre Dame wins out? Who do you put it in? That's not happening. Usually it's between like 5 teams, to be honest, of making the playoffs itself, not even championship contenders. So it works itself out. It'll be fine. We can talk about the craziness if we get to it. But I always like, I'm not gonna lie, I do like kind of looking at it and seeing what they're kind of looking at, which is like David said, nothing. They have no consistency. I don't know what they're trying to do here, but I guess they're doing eye tests. But the whole Cincinnati, I don't know. Okay, well, moving on. We don't have to talk about any of last week's games. We kind of touched on all of them just now, at least the ones I cared about. Let's do some predictions.
Ooh.
What? Oh, you're just excited?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's not too many. But I want to start off with Ohio State at Nebraska. Ohio State's 15-point favorite. Nebraska might not be as bad. They have a lot of close losses. So is there a chance for Nebraska to make it this close?
I know I've gotten some side comments from watchers, I don't even know, viewers of the pod that tell me that I always take the favorites, which I kind of always do, I'll admit. But I'm going to do it again. Ohio State.
You're
Nebraska.
acknowledging it, but you're still gonna.
I am acknowledging it, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's statistics, but come on now. Ohio State can beat Nebraska by 15 easy.
Yeah,
So I got to go.
I agree. Ohio State's been playing really well lately. I'll have to give them that. I feel like I feel like they're in the Alabama Georgia tier, to be honest. Like that tier A. I think it's those three and everybody else right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Ohio State, I'm just saying if they win out and Oregon wins out, Oregon might be, obviously depending upon how the games are played. Oregon has a pretty good case over Ohio State.
Yep.
So here's a potential upset if you want to pick this one. Wake, UNC.
Ooh. What's the spread?
UNC -2.5.
Really?
Yes, Vegas likes the upset.
Wow, then yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going upset, even though it's not an upset. I feel like Wake's rolling, and honestly, UNC doesn't look that good.
I'm
They're
with you.
of what's his name? Sam Howell, is that his name?
Yeah, Sam Howell for UNC.
Yeah, they're those memes of him like sitting on the bench, like looking like he just really wants to leave and go to the draft. At least those were the memes I was seeing. It's like, how many more games do I have to play with these bums or something? So, yeah. Honestly, I don't think he's that good either, but that's another story.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with the upset, quote unquote.
Yeah,
I'm going with the Demon Deeks. We're Demon Deek guys over here. David,
we watched Sam Hartman on.
Yeah, we saw Sam Hartman. David got me into him. I'm on the Demon Deek train. David betted on them like 6 straight weeks, and they've covered every single time. So Vegas just hates on Wake. Wake covers again and gets love. What about Michigan State at Purdue? Can Purdue get another top 3 upset? I guess at the time. Michigan State -3.
Wait, who?
Michigan State -3.
You gave me the wrong notes, I'm just going to say.
Oh, did I never include that?
No, you said Michigan State, Iowa when you texted me.
I did, damn.
So they're playing Purdue?
Well, they're playing Purdue, yeah.
I'm picking the favorites again. I like what I saw to Michigan State. That was honestly the first game I've watched them play this year. I watched them in Michigan, and they look pretty decent. I mean, that running back is nasty. What's his name? Kenneth Walker. Dude's went for 190 and 5 touchdowns. Like, I don't even know. There's no one on Purdue's team that can stop that guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Michigan State to cover on this one. Kenneth Walker is probably the Heisman Trophy winner as of today. That Michigan game was crazy.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about it. It was a crazy game. There's your little take on that. Kenneth Walker was crazy. Crazy game. Michigan choked. What a shame. But yeah, I'm going Michigan State. Let's see what we got next. Auburn A&M. This is a big game for the West. Auburn wins out. Yeah. They go to the SEC championship. So it's at Kyle Field. Texas A&M -4.5.
Interesting.
Also, if Alabama loses one more and Texas A&M wins out, they go. So the West is still up for grabs. It's intense.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Honestly, I'd say these teams I think are pretty evenly matched, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If I'm being honest, I don't like either of their quarterbacks. And I think I've said this before, but I go a lot of college football, I feel like, based off of their quarterbacks. And then obviously, I mean, I picked Michigan State based solely on their running back because he's just, that much of a game changer. But this one's a coin flip. I don't know. I'd probably just pick the home team. So who's home team?
A&M.
Okay, then I'm gonna go A&M. Like I said, that one's pretty much a coin flip for me. Auburn's looked semi-decent in the past couple weeks, haven't they? Like
Yeah,
they kind of.
so is A&M.
I think
So
I think both teams have started to kind of find themselves later in the season. So this should be a pretty good matchup, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well, you basically stole everything I was gonna say.
Sorry. I would
Literally
like
everything. I was gonna say I'm picking
you don't-
A&M because they're the home team. I don't like either of the quarterbacks. So for that reason, I'm going with the Auburn.
Ooh.
Bo Nix is walking in getting the dub.
Like I said, I mean, it was a coin flip. I'm not writing anything down in stone. I think this will be a good game with two teams that I find pretty similar.
All right. How about this one? Kentucky and Tennessee battle for second place in the East. I think Kentucky's favored by 1 point.
Only one?
Yeah.
I don't know. That Kentucky lost again this week, and they didn't look great. I feel like their quarterback threw a couple picks. I think I wasn't watching that game either, but I saw the stat line. And Tennessee, I mean, excuse me, Tennessee looks like they've been able to score some points, right? Like they put up 40 in a couple games, I think.
Yeah, they've been slinging it a little.
I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I feel like I can't ever pick Tennessee though, just because I hate them. So for that reason, I pick Kentucky.
Yeah, that's going to lead me into what I was saying, kind of. This is the Beef Bowl for me. As for the YouTube viewers, you can see I'm wearing a Duke shirt. College basketball starts a week from today for Duke. Duke versus Kentucky opening night. And then there's Tennessee, who I absolutely hate. So it's the Beef Bowl.
Gotcha.
And listen to this. I had somebody that was talking to me at some tailgate at the UGA Florida game who's like, dude, I'm kind of nervous about Tennessee. I'm like, what? No. I'm like, they suck.
Like, have you gone to a game this season? Like,
who, me?
No, I was like, you should have said that to him. And like,
oh yeah.
Have you even watched us play this year? Why are you?
We're not losing to them. I'm sorry. I'll call that now. But yeah,
our defense.
I'm going with Kentucky, I guess, because I hate Tennessee. So yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, wait. This is the last. Oh yeah. So we got a game day at Cincinnati and Tulsa. So I got conspiracy on this one. So hear me out. ESPN knew the rankings beforehand, correct? Because they could have gone to Auburn, A&M, or like somewhere else. I don't know. But they knew the rankings ahead of time. They knew Cincinnati was going to be like 6. So it's all a ploy from the committee and College Game Day, so they can go to Cincinnati and start giving a little sob story, being like the little guy, and then there's an uproar. And they're like, yeah. And they end up kicking Tulsa's ass because they're 22.5 point favorites. And then people be like, Cincinnati deserves it. It's a whole conspiracy. That's my take on it. And it's going to work because Cincinnati's going to win and Cincinnati's going to cover. What do you think of my conspiracy?
I can't say. I'm not a conspiracy guy. Okay. So I'm going to say no. I think they just think Cincy's the 6th best team in the country right now. That being said, Cincy hasn't looked
good before. Anyways.
I don't think who did they play this week?
Tulsa.
No, or who did they play this past week?
I have no idea.
They played Navy the week before and almost lost.
Who did they play?
Let's look that up first. That'll influence my answer because
and it's 3:32. It's not even a prime time game.
It says they played Tulane.
Yes, they were only up like 14-12 at half.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Okay, so Cincinnati's looked flat 2 weeks in a row, and if I'm being quite honest, here I go. I'm picking not Tulsa to win, but I'm gonna take the points on this one.
Ooh.
I don't know if Cincy's gonna beat them by 22.5. They've looked flat. And honestly, in the past 2 games, they've only scored what? They scored 31 and then like 24 or something the week before that, something like that. So, I don't know. I mean, in order to beat them by 22 and a half, you got to score more than 22 and a half.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm taking points. I said I think I don't necessarily like what I've seen out of Cincy the past couple weeks. They look like maybe I think it's in their heads. I think the pressure and the hype and stuff is getting to them right now because they're like, oh my God, we could actually do this, you know? Whereas last year, I feel like they possibly had a chip on their shoulder, kind of like, oh my God, we're actually good and we're coming out of nowhere. This year, it's like they were expected to do this. So I don't know. I feel like they could be playing almost with a fear of not to lose rather than to win. So I'm taking points. That's my final answer. And I'm not picking the favorites.
You're standing up against them. You're a sucker. You fall too much into the pressure. You won't let you be you. Be yourself. Be yourself. All right. My closing remarks on the college football segment of the 6-0 podcast is, if you were listening a few weeks ago, I made a Jordan Stein lock of the week. Notre Dame minus 6.5, I think, or something like that. They covered. Yeah. Yes. Let's go. Jordan Stein lock of the week. You're welcome, America. You're welcome. So in celebration of Jordan Stein's lock of the week, I got 2 locks of the weeks.
Oh my God.
I got 2 in 1 week to celebrate the first ever Jordan Stein lock of the week dub. First one is Kansas State minus 23.5. They're so covering. Kansas is terrible. So, and Kansas State's not too bad. Like, I mean, for Big 12 comparisons, but they got a good running back. So they cover. Kansas still stinks. I think that was more about Oklahoma stinking than Kansas being actually like underrated or something. My other one is a team that lost to Notre Dame that did not cover. USC plus 8.5 against Arizona State. Arizona State sucks. That's
good luck.
Yeah. So they both cover. So now let's move on to the NFL.
Moving on to the NFL. All right. So this is the point in the episode, if you guys made it this far, where we transition to my NFL talk. Like I said, usually Jordan, not even usually, always, Jordan leads our college football discussion. And then I kind of pick up a couple games instead of looking forward, I guess, as we also do in college football. I'm just going to basically talk about what happened last week and some of the narratives that go along with it. So I have 6 games I want to talk about this week. One of which being the opener of the week, Thursday Night Football, Cardinals-Packers. Obviously, we know this game ended in a strange fashion. Kyler Murray throws a ball to A.J. Green over in the corner, and he doesn't even look like he's running or even looking at it for that matter. And Packers corner gets an interception, game over. I mean, what do we think about that? What does it say? We've lost our last undefeated team. Are the Packers good? Are the Cardinals not as good? What do you think?
I'm going to say the Packers are good. So here's an interesting stat. So Devontae Adams is out. You know the Packers are like 7-0 without Devontae Adams.
I did not.
Isn't that kind of interesting? This tells you how good Aaron Rodgers is. Nah, Packers are good. They're a good team. I think Cardinals are good too. Kyler, just one of those tough games. Everyone has them. Everyone's not going to be, scoring 5 touchdowns every week or anything. So it happens. I'm not too worried. J.J. Watt's out for the year, though, I think, right?
Yeah, I think they said he
That's pretty big.
I need to look. They said he tore everything. He tore his back and his labrum. Basically his entire shoulder and arm was hanging on by silly strings.
That sucks. He was having a pretty good year.
He was. And I feel that's another thing we can talk about. J.J. Watt in general, I feel like the second half of his career, maybe even more at this point, seems like it's a what could have been kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like he was so good. I mean, he won 2 Defensive Player of the Years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just I don't know. I could look up.
There's too many injuries.
JJ Watt
He's
was
got hurt a
fantastic.
lot.
Now it's kind of like, wow, I feel like he's been consistently injured for what feels like at least 6 seasons at this point.
Yeah, it's even like when he did play, it wasn't like he was just like, some nobody. He would still be balling out. And then he would just get hurt after a certain amount of the year.
Yeah.
I still think the Cardinals would be okay though.
I think they will
the
be
Rams
too.
are sneaking up. The Rams are right there behind them though. So who knows if they win that division. But
Yeah, the Rams just traded for Von Miller.
Yeah, so they got even better.
Also, with what draft picks? Can I say that? I saw something that said that they had in this upcoming draft, they only have their 5th round pick or something. They've literally traded away 1 through 4 and then 6 and 7 or something like that.
They got money, so they can go get the big guys.
But I mean, they're just they're in win, not even win now. This is win right now. This is a whole level above win now. And this is if this doesn't work, oh my God! If you don't win the Super Bowl,
they're going all out, so you gotta give it
screwed. Also, I mean, Von Miller's in a contract year, and I think the reason why the Broncos let go of him was I think they were like, hey, we're gonna have to pay this dude too. He's also coming off injury,
and we'll send you a contender because we've been sucking ass the past few years.
But also,
go on a big time contender. Go win a Super. Go win.
Are they gonna sign? But are they gonna sign him? It's you just gave a 2nd and 3rd round pick for him. And then it's you're gonna have to pay him $1 gajillion. He's Von Miller.
Oh, for the Rams case, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of even if he's washed up, even if it, you know what I mean. A washed up Von Miller is still an above average football player.
Yeah,
still a great football player. Even I wouldn't necessarily call him an elite pass rusher right now. He's been a little quiet this year. I feel maybe it's just because the Broncos are bad. But
yeah.
Anyway, it depends on what they're gonna do. I don't know where they're getting all this money.
They're LA.
I mean, they have the same cap restrictions as everyone else. Anyway, not too much more I wanted to say about that game, other than I would like to point out though that Kyler led I guess he had a really sucky game, threw 0 touchdowns, no picks, I believe. And I don't know, he led a very valiant comeback and they got all the way to the goal line. They were in perfect position to win that game. Down 3 too. So if they scored a touchdown, it's game over.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And I think that play was some sort of miscommunication. I don't think it was a bad throw or anything. I think AJ Green just didn't know what he was doing or did not expect the ball at all. I don't know what the deal was. But Anyway, next game, Titans Colts. This game was pretty interesting one. I didn't watch a whole lot of it, if I'm being honest, but it went into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Colts looked decent early. I think they went up 14.
They went up 14-0.
They
went up 14-0.
They went up 14-0 with 2 Michael Pittman touchdowns. Who looks like he's showing some flashes definitely in his second year, because he his first year wasn't great. I think he got injured too, but
yeah.
Anyway, Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show always he's known to roast Michael Pittman, because Michael Pittman wouldn't give up his number 11 for Carson Wentz when he came in. And he's like, Michael Pittman, the same Michael Pittman that had 500 receiving yards and 1 touchdown last year. You won't give up your number 11 for your starting quarterback. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, but Colts looked
not even 11 with his number in college. That was weird.
Exactly. He basically, Carson Wentz asked him for his number, and he was like, no, screw you. This is my number. I'm kind of bro, that's your quarterback. That's the guy throwing you the football. If he wants your number, you give it to him.
Yeah.
Tom Brady joins your team and you're Chris Godwin and that's a little different.
Yeah, I was about to say Tom Brady.
I'm I don't even like Tom Brady, but if I was
you're cut from the team if you're not giving Tom Brady 12.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're suspended by the league.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a really bad analogy. Like I said, I don't even like Tom Brady. But I honestly, if I was wearing number 12 and I was on a team and he asked me for it, you have to give it to
your little Scotty Miller and you're going out with your girlfriend or whatever. And Tom Brady hits you up. He's like, hey, I want to throw some footballs. Get your ass over here. You got to be like, oh, I got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if it's your wedding anniversary.
It's not the same exact way.
Get your
I
ass
do.
over there. Get your ass over there.
Like I said, that's water under the bridge at this point. But just to me, it seemed a little disrespectful at the time. I was kind of like, that's a guy throwing you the football, you
That
know?
is odd. I agree.
Anyway, but I thought Carson Wentz looked decent in the first half. I mean, he just seems so, I don't want to say average, but I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think, obviously, we're not getting that whatever season that was, 2019, 2018, whenever they won the Super Bowl, but he got injured. I mean, that Wentz isn't showing up, but
No,
I
not
don't think
close.
he's terrible. I mean, he's getting about what I think the Colts, I don't want to say needed out of him, but still not quite good enough. I still think they have a good roster, and I don't know. He doesn't give them that like spark of energy that they might need. Obviously, other big news from this game: Titans losing Derrick Henry
Yeah.
for the season. Well, they said he could come back if they win the playoffs, but I'm kind of like, Titans probably not going to the playoffs without Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They
That's
might.
right. They're 6-2 right now, but now Derrick Henry could get really sus. Ryan Tannehill, Julio's got to step up. AJ Brown, I think, had a good. AJ Brown had a really good game, so he's got to step up. That passing game, step up.
Can I add in about Julio? I mean, maybe I'm a sad Falcons fan. I have to say that before I get into this, but I'm kind of like, that's exactly what I expected them to get out of Julio. They got I mean, he still has juice, like I'm saying. He shows flashes. He did that his last couple of seasons in Atlanta too, where like he'll come in, he'll make like one amazing play. Like you saw, it was either last week or the week before, he made like that crazy circus catch where the ball flew up in the air and then he like tiptoed it and everyone's like, that's Julio. And I'm like, right, but you get that, like, you only get that for one play or something. Like Julio's just not consistent anymore. He's just banged up. I don't know. He's like I said, it was about what I expected, and that's why he only got a second round pick for him. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Still sad about it, but also, it is what it is. He's not the same player.
Kind of speaking about that, Calvin Ridley too.
No comment.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about Calvin Ridley.
But yeah, I agree. Titans are screwed. But yeah, I'll say they still make the playoffs to get the AFC South. It's just that terrible.
Yes. See, that's how I feel too, is I think they could easily make it there just because, I mean, like, their top competition is what, the Colts? Because the other two teams are the Jags and Texans, and they don't stand a chance. So, like, you can beat the Colts without Derrick Henry, and they've already beat them once.
Yeah, exactly.
Twice? I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, we can move on. Next thing I want to talk about was this is more for the narratives than the actual game itself. The Jets beating the Bengals. Jets with a backup quarterback beating I'd say the Bengals would maybe be the hottest team in the league right here, you could argue. Or coming into this game, like, just blowing out the Ravens. And they come into this game and lose to the Jets. Funny, the Jets have 2 wins, and they're against the Bengals and Titans, who are, I would say,
they're both.
I would consider 2 of them
leaders.
Once again, if we're talking about just like teams that are red hot, I would say, like, I mean, obviously before the Derrick Henry injury, I would say the Titans and Bengals were like just rolling. And it's really weird that the Jets beat them both. Very strange. I don't understand, but
yeah, I didn't watch this. I don't know what happened here. I just know
that Mike White dude threw for 400 passing yards.
If you're the Bengals, you can't be losing the Jets. That might be a game we just look at it and we say that's the difference between like home field and a wild card or like not getting in. You can't be losing the Jets, especially against a backup quarterback.
Like I said, but that brings in another conversation. I mean, like I said, dude threw for over 400 yards.
Zach Wilson overrated?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of like
saying that right now.
Like, I know Zach Wilson's hurt right now, but like, do you keep starting this guy? Or do you get Zach Wilson the reps? Obviously, Zach Wilson is the future no matter.
That depends on the mindset, I guess. I guess you keep on starting Mike White until he does bad.
Right.
And then the second he does bad, you pull him.
I think I kind of agree with that.
Or if you just keep on sucking ass or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and get Zach
I'll
Wilson.
start him next week, Mike White.
You definitely don't want to like, play Zach Wilson hurt or play him where.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Or
I thought that was
just getting him bad reps. You know what I mean? Like if he's in a situation where his entire team around him is terrible as well.
It's gone.
Oh my. Another home run for the Braves. Anyway, yeah, I was gonna say if you're in a situation where like the entire team around you is bad, you know what I mean? It's like, do you just rest him? Do you just sacrifice this Mike White guy, let him play, and let Zach Wilson just study and rest his body for next year when they can reload more in the draft and hopefully free agency? It's like, I don't know. It's a tough situation for Justin.
I would start him like at the end of the year if you're doing terrible, to be honest. Yeah. And assuming he's healthy.
You definitely don't want him to get hurt playing for nothing at this point. It's like
I wouldn't even say playing for nothing at this point.
They're playing.
You're getting NFL reps.
They're bottom 5. I mean,
yeah, but you're getting like NFL reps, so I wouldn't say that's for nothing.
Right.
All right.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes when your reps consist of you just running around for your life and just chucking it and throwing interceptions, it's kind of like that's probably not good for your muscle memory. You know what I mean? Or your brain, your thought processes. It could almost be detrimental. So I don't even know. Next game I want to talk about was 49ers Bears. Now, 49ers won this game. I thought Justin looked decent in this game. Yeah. He had over 100 rushing yards.
He had a crazy run for a touchdown.
Yeah, he did. And it looked a lot longer than it was, probably because he reversed field. And it was only I think it was only 22 yards or something like that. But he was 10 yards back when it started from the line. So, I don't know. Great play by Justin. I did want to talk about, even though the 49ers won, okay, can we talk about the 49ers? They don't look good. They've had this injury bug in the past, right? Like that's been their what if. They've been like, hey, the 49ers, they'd be so good. Shanahan's so great. But I'm like, oh, but Garoppolo's injured. They're playing with a backup quarterback. Oh, Mostert's injured. I guess he's injured again this year.
I think Debo's hurt right now too.
Who?
Debo.
He's not out, is he? Or I don't
know. He might be out.
Anyway, all I'm saying is, as a general rule, at least compared to previous years, I would consider them a pretty healthy team. Other than, like I said, Mostert being out for the season. But I'm kind of like, that's been the excuse for about, 2-3 years now, that we're like, oh, they're just not healthy, right? Because remember, there was that one season where Garoppolo went down and then they ended up with the number 2 pick and got Bosa. So
that's true.
And then Bosa was.
I think it's more of we've seen them go to the Super Bowl before kind of thing, and they were Jimmy G overthrow away.
Like I said, I'm looking at that team now that it was kind of I was kind of waiting for this. I was kind of like, hey, the 49ers, this whole division, honestly, or with the Cardinals, 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks. I was kind of like, they're all good teams, and I'm looking at the 49ers, and I'm just like, I just don't see it. I think they're mid, maybe below average, honestly, right now, which with that roster, I feel like they shouldn't be. And with their expectations also, I feel like they shouldn't be. So I don't really know what's going on there. I don't have any answers for it other than maybe Shanahan's not the guy. I don't know. We got to see. They have a strange.
I'll give him another year after this. I gotta see him with a second-year Trey Lance.
Exactly. It's they have a cloudy future ahead of them because it's they got Trey Lance, but they also gave up 2-3 first-round picks to get him to trade up there. So it's also I don't know. It's how do you really build around that?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they have a lot of good pieces already, but I feel like typically when you get a quarterback like that in there, you want to try to. I feel like the goal, right? You get a quarterback, you're not paying him $1 gazillion, right? And then you bring in everything around him you can because he's not expensive yet in this first.
Exactly.
So it's kind of you can't do that through the draft anymore because you gave up those picks. I guess you could do it through your seconds and thirds and whatnot. But anyway, not really sure what the 49ers are doing. They almost seem like they kind of sold out to I don't want to say win now. I feel like they sold out to win 3 years from now almost, which I don't think is ever a really, really good move because you never know what's going to happen in that time. But anyway, that's about all I have to say about that. I don't know what the Bears are doing either. Patriots,
Matt
Chargers.
Nagy's looking sus, but yeah.
Patriots, Chargers. This one was a weird one too. I mean, this one, I feel like if you would have asked me, I would have said, yeah, the Chargers are gonna go in there and just.
They're sus.
Chargers are
I'm
sus.
just gonna say right now they're sus.
Yeah, I mean they were kind of.
Herbert hasn't looked too good.
Yeah, they were rolling for a little bit, and Herbert threw a couple picks. One of them I don't.
One of them was a game losing pick six.
Yeah, so Chargers, I don't even know. Patriots. I don't know what to think about the Patriots. I feel like their style,
they'll be like around 500, I think.
But they're so conservative. I feel like their whole offense is literally just like passing it in the sticks, you know what I mean? And like run straight up the middle. And I'm like, it's so boring. Like, I guess it works. What are they, 3-4 or something right now? I don't even know. Maybe they're 4-4. I don't even know. But
I think they're 4-4.
I'm just like, it's boring to watch. I feel like they're the only team that's still running that kind of offense.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
And I'm like, their defense is decent. I'm kind of like, I don't know what to think of them. I mean, they have a rookie QB. I almost feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're not in it right now to win the Super Bowl, which should be the ultimate. No, I mean like that's the ultimate goal of your team. I don't mean like they're not good enough, which I don't think.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I don't think right now they're like. I don't want to say they're not trying to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like from all levels, like from front office, from executive leadership, from head coach. I'm like, it doesn't seem like you're trying to win a Super Bowl right now. It seems like you're trying to win a Super Bowl maybe 3 years from now. I don't know, but they're not doing it right now. Anyway, and then the last game.
Oh, before that, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow, who's better right now?
Jeez. If you ask me who I would take as the quarterback of my team, if I was starting a brand new team right now and I had a draft pick and I got to pick one of those two, I would take Herbert.
Obviously, Herbert's got the high. We can say Herbert's got the higher ceiling, but right now, who's been better?
Yeah. Who is playing better over the past what?
Yeah,
2
like
weeks?
who's better right now? Like in a quarterback ranking.
Who's playing better?
Yeah, sure. Who's playing better? What's your quarterback ranking?
Burrow's been better the past 2 weeks.
Not even the past 2 weeks. So even the whole year. The whole year so far, where are you ranking?
Oh no. I feel like Burrow's had a couple more turnovers, right? Herbert's. I'd have to look at the numbers. Herbert had a good stretch. He had like a 4-game stretch where he threw 12 touchdown passes, I think. So that was kind of nuts. I don't know. I'd still probably take Herbert on the whole year.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's been a debate between two friends of the podcast, David and Trey.
Well, sometimes it's good to even have the debate. You know what I mean? It's not like one of them is bad. It's like to be comparing them to each other. I mean, obviously, they were in the same draft class, right? Burrow was 1 and Herbert was like 6.
Correct. Oh my! Oh, off the wall. Here's another one.
6-0 Braves.
This is going a little too well.
I know, it's almost
like we've seen this before.
As an Atlanta sports fan, we watched this and we're like, we're up 6-0. How are we going to lose this game? How are we going to lose the entire World Series after this? How? Anyway, okay, sorry, off topic. I want to talk about Giants and everybody. Big stinker of a game. Interceptions by both quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks just played badly, if I'm being honest. Almost no run game, I feel like, from either team. This was just like, it was not fun for my eyeballs. And at this point, the Giants are the Giants. I feel like the Giants, I don't want to say I would compare them to Georgia in any way, but I definitely feel like the Giants have a lot of pieces. They got a decent defense, if you ask me. And then, I don't know. Actually, Daniel Jones has been better this year, but he reminds me of Stetson in the way where he's good with his legs and he shows flashes of greatness, right? And then he just does stupid stuff where you're just like, how is that even the same person? So in that aspect, yeah, Giants, I can't see them winning.
Giants seem like the Giants seem like they don't have a lot of good players, but they seem like they're kind of well coached in a way.
Exactly. I feel like the Giants don't have
Except
any.
for Aziz, of course, and Tay Crowder and Andrew Thomas and Lorenzo Carter.
I know I love the boys, okay, but hear me out. Giants don't have any like elite players on their entire team.
Well, they're also young.
I will say they have a lot. They have a lot of good players. You know what I mean? Like they don't have like.
They don't have a difference maker.
I was gonna say they don't have like any great. I guess James Bradbury is pretty good. Their corner, and then I mean Saquon is whatever you want to think about Saquon. I always say the best ability is availability. If you're not on the field, you can't score touchdowns. So sorry, Saquon, but I love you. I think you're good, but if you're not playing, I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, and the Chiefs' struggles are real. I think I was saying that
I agree.
The first couple weeks of the season, I kept coming on here. They started like 1-3 or something. I was like, guys, it's the Chiefs. Like it'll work itself out. Honestly, I'm doubling back on that, or whatever the opposite. I'm reversing that take. To be quite honest, I have no clue what's wrong. They have basically the same players. Their offensive line, they supposedly rebuilt in free agency, and they're just all look bad. Did the other teams just figure them out? I don't know. Is it scheme? Is it Mahomes? I mean, I feel like they figured him out. I don't know what to say. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what to say either. And it's not like anybody's been like hurt or anything. Like
exactly. That's
maybe a player that we thought was more important, like a left tackle or a guard or something like that, like the leader of the line. But Tyreek Hill's there.
They have all the same.
Kelsey's there.
Like theoretically,
there. Now that defense sucks, but that's not even the concern. I mean, they could survive with a sucky defense, but their offense has been terrible.
It's the same defense as last year. Like they didn't lose anyone important. You know what I mean? Like that I can think of. I mean, I feel like they drafted that guy out of Missouri, Nick Bolton, right? And he's like leading their team in tackles, and he looked pretty good. They drafted him in the second round, I think. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. The Chiefs' struggles are real. I honestly think even though they beat the Giants, like I said, they shouldn't feel happy about that one. I mean, that was rough. The Giants played awful, and still like it was a 3-point game or something. So. That was not a fun game to watch on a Monday night. I was like cringing the entire time.
I didn't watch it, luckily.
Like I said, I watched it and I was just like, this is not fun to watch. Like the Chiefs offense, I used to tune in. I was like, this is prime time. I want to see a team drop 50 points and make it look so easy. Like Travis Kelce and Tyreek just wide open. And you're like, how'd they even get that open? I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe they got figured out. I don't know what the deal is, but that's about all I have for NFL talk.
All right. Then we can wrap this episode up. Probably a long episode, to be honest.
Yeah, this probably was a really long one.
Well, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. If you made it this far, you get a shout out from our first sponsor.
What?
Yes. You didn't look at the email?
No.
Shout out to Lay's baked chips, sour cream and onion, 65% less fat than regular potato chips. How do you know?
Because it's a major corporation.
Yeah, we're that popular. But yeah, shout out to them. If you made it this far, say baked Lay's. Baked Lay's. Yes.
Actually, wait. If you made it this far, comment your favorite flavor of baked Lay's.
Yes.
I prefer barbecue.
Yes. Comment your favorite flavor.
Lay's needs to know.
We need to make money.
Yeah, they're gonna poll all of our viewers and find out what flavor they want best. Actually, even better idea. Instead of commenting your favorite flavor, I want you to comment the flavor of Lay's you want them to make.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
They're gonna be really confused when like someone looks down in the comment section and there's like 2 comments and one just says like Buffalo Ranch.
Actually sounds pretty good.
That does sound pretty good. I'm commenting Buffalo Ranch.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Well,
guys.
that'll be it. Peace out. See you later.